Yo, what's up? And welcome back for another episode of True Stories. I had a lot of fun talking about snow bunnies from my past, and I got quite a few stories. So I'm going to tell another one. Years ago, when I decided to become an author and a poet, my second book of poetry, I wrote a poem called I'm Having a Very Black Day. And obviously, if you're not black, you would understand what I'm talking about. But a lot of things happen to black people on a regular basis, especially myself, that just realize I'm having a black day. You know, walking down the grocery aisle, making eye contact with a white woman with her basket, and she gets scared and acts like she's looking at bread or juice or something, or trying to be kind and open the door for somebody, and they're like, they scuff at you. I'm like, God damn, really? Because it's a task on a daily basis being black and trying to live in an unjust America and be cool about it. What's even worse is being judged by who you're with or the people that you tend to date. Their kind all judge you when you're outnumbered, and they feel comfortable. White people love it when they outnumber you and try to make you feel low. I was dating this girl, and like most people, you go to the movies, restaurants. She goes, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat. Mind you, this is summertime in Sacramento, California. We're talking 100+ degrees daily throughout the summer. So brother wears sweats, tank tops, shorts, flip-flops. That's the attire of most of the people in Sacramento during the summertime. Well, she chose this restaurant that I've never heard of or been to. Again, summertime, summertime attire. We walk into this restaurant and, it's a little stiffy, a little stuffy. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully the food is good. And the lady who seats you, the greeter, looked at me up and down like this. Oh, for two? And looked past me and looked at the girl I was with and said, and she goes, oh yes, two. And she sits us down and we're sitting there and she brings us a couple of menus. We're looking at the menus and we're having casual talk. And the lady comes back and says, excuse me, sir, would you happen to have a blazer or a jacket in the car? I'm like, why would I have a blazer or a jacket in the car in the middle of summer? I go, no. She goes, oh, I was just asking because I said, because what? Well, at this particular restaurant, you have to have sleeves on to be served. I'm like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me, because I'm wearing a tank top in 100-degree weather, that I'm underdressed to be in this restaurant to have a meal? It's not 8 o'clock at night. It's in the middle of the day. And I'm looking around. I am the only person of color in this restaurant. Everybody's looking at me like, I'm like, no. And she leaves and comes back again. She goes, sir, I was told by management we have to refuse to serve you because of your attire. And I looked at a homegirl and she was more mad than I was. She goes, what? You mean to tell me because he's what? We got up and we left and we were pissed. I'm like, a lot of bad black shit happened to me, but this takes the cake right about now. And the lady said, oh, I'm sorry. Well, next time, make sure you wear a jacket. I looked at that bitch and said, look, and I stopped myself. I was like, I'm going to be the better person and the bigger person. So we go to another restaurant. We're in the Arden area. And in the Arden area in Sacramento, there's a plethora of restaurants all in one community, right? So we go to Chevy's, watered down, white people, Mexican food. It's cool. The environment was better. They had music. They got TVs. They got the game on. So it was a different environment, right? And the food was okay. It was all right and everything. And as I was eating, I had to go use the restroom. And I got up, went to the restroom, and there was kind of a heavy-set white lady waiting outside the two doors leading to the men's or to the women's. And as I'm about to walk, she goes, excuse me, sir. I said, yeah. She goes, oh my God, I hate doing this, but my brother is handicapped and he's having a hard time trying to go to the restroom. Could you please assist him? I'm like, absolutely. You know, she didn't see color. She seen a man going to the restroom and maybe someone who can aid her brother go to the restroom. I walk in, she told me his name. I introduced myself, say, hi, I met your sister outside and give you some assistance. And the funny thing is, my job here in California, what I do, I make sure everything is ADA certified in all business communities. So all movie theaters, restaurants, and things like that, it's my job to make sure it's ADA compliant for handicap. So they have ramps. You go into the restroom, they have grab bars. There's a handicap stall. It's got to be 5 feet in radius so a wheelchair can fit in. The doors got to swing out so they can, go in. And because they can't do the things that we can do on a normal basis. So I introduced myself. I grabbed his wheelchair and wheeled him into the handicap stall. And I said, are you going number 1 or number 2? He goes, sir, I'm embarrassed to say, but I'm going number 2. I'm like, hey, not a problem. I changed diapers in my day. No big deal. I've worked with the elderly. I don't judge people. I'm here to assist and to help. And I learned something that day. Though I'm in the business of working with ADA equipment, I didn't know how it all worked. Because when you see a grab bar in a stall, there's one behind the stall, behind the toilet here, and one on the wall. I just assumed I put the brake on his wheelchair, he'd stand up and grab the grab bar. And I was thinking, okay, let me turn him around. He goes, sir, what are you doing? Someone turned and said, no, that's not how it works. Facing the toilet is what you want to do and lock my wheels in. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you can do that. And he grabbed the grab bar and he grabbed the other one and pulled himself up. I did not realize these commodes or toilets are universally shaped where you can sit on it this way or that way. I never paid attention to that. When handicapped people use the restroom, they grab the grab bar facing them and pull themselves, and they're facing that way to go to the restroom, number 1 or number 2. I'm like, so I gave him some privacy. I walked out and just hung out, for a few minutes. Actually went outside and talked to his sister for a little while. And she was thankful. And, we need more people like you in this world who don't mind giving a helping hand to somebody who needs it. And man, just an hour ago, I was shunned for supposedly not having the right attire, but because my ass was black and I was with a white woman. It wasn't cool. And, a day where you're having a very black day, you end up having a very wonderful day. I gave it a few minutes, went back in, let him finish up. He wiped himself. I assisted him getting back on his wheelchair, helped him pull up his pants and help buckle it. And he looked at me and said, thank you so much, man. This is a constant struggle. I'm like, hey, man, I know what it's like to be different and to be judged and afraid to ask for help. I said, you have a wonderful sister out there who's waiting out there to make sure you're okay. And then we walked outside. I wheeled him out, and his sister gave me the biggest hug. Something simple as helping her brother use the restroom. Every bad moment that happened that day was wiped away. And people of other ethnicities, there are good people out there. There are still some good people out there. And it reinvigorated my faith that there is some good in the world, and do the right thing and help people, But, yeah. And when I went back to my table, sat down, she looked at me. She goes, who are them people you were hugging? I said, well, I just met them in the restroom. She's like, well, I said, no. I told her what happened. And she looked at me from across the table and grabbed my hands and started to cry. That moment was so cool, It's not about color. It's about the person who you are or could be in this world we live in that's full of evildoers, And we bonded for a moment, it was cool. Ordered some cheesecake, had some dessert, had a little drinky drink, and had a cool evening. So yeah, your day can start off rotten, but end sweet. But yeah, that's another true story. And again, trust the process and follow your heart and try to do the right thing. Until the next time, be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, and more importantly, leave your comments down below. You know, not all snow bunnies are bad, and you can learn something from them. All right, peace. Until the next time on True Stories.